Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishta Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Yeah, so we stopped here where Vidura was asking these questions for the benefit of us, for our benefit. He was asking these questions and reading from Maitreya smiled. Surely Vidura knew the answer to this question, but it was the nature of such great souls to humbly ask for others' benefit. Vidura continued, Master, you're a great unalloyed devotee of Krishna who travels the world out of compassion for fallen souls. Your only motive is to bring them back to Krishna, and thus you're the right person to answer my question. Please tell me how to serve the Lord in such a way as to become free of material desires, thereby attracting his mercy so that he reveals true knowledge about himself from within. Maitreya beamed, pleased with the question. He asked Vidura if there was anything else he wished to know. Let's pause here. This is very, very relevant for all of us. My heart is also like eager to hear these answers in this section, because that's exactly what I would also like to know. How can I progress in my Krishna consciousness with the least, if not none, least of the material desires as possible? Because I can see how self-will, when I am thinking of myself, when I'm thinking of my own comfort, what I like, what I don't like, what I think it should be and what should not be, all these things can be such obstacles to actually become an instrument in the Lord's hands and continue the mission. So I wish to also know the answer to this question. How can I perform devotional service with no material desires? Or how to channel all these energies, all these desires towards Krishna consciousness? I'm so eager. Any other comments, Rashali?
Yes. Nice, yeah.
Are you also eager to know the answer?
Yeah, of course.
Maybe if you like, you can continue the reading.
Yeah, very difficult to be free from material desires.
No, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Maitreya beamed pleased with the question. He asked Vidura if there was anything else he wished to know. Vidura turned to topics about Krishna that he knew were difficult for many to understand. O great sage, I know that the Lord is self-satisfied and without material desires, yet he still creates and perfectly maintains the cosmos. I am curious to know how he does this through his many energies and incarnations, specifically the three Purusha avatars, Karnodakshai, Garbhodakshai, and Shirodakshai Vishnu. Maitreya thanked Vidura for his inspiring questions and said, there are various versions of how Krishna in his Purusha incarnation creates the material universe. Though there may be differences in detail in each creation, the main principles remain consistent. Have you already heard any of these accounts? I have heard one, said Vidura. He looked up at the clear blue sky. The gigantic sky is compared to Mahavishnu's heart. The Garbhodakshai Vishnu lies down.
Oh, sorry,
Mhm.
I don't know,
It
something
got
happened.
it changed, yeah. Um, I've heard. Okay. Vishnu lies down in that sky to expand himself into many living beings in all species of life. He does this effortlessly since he possesses all mystic powers. Indeed, his unlimited potencies distinguish him from all other living beings. Vidura reached over and clasped his friend's hand. Please tell me about this in more detail. Yes, I would be delighted. Is there anything else you wish to hear? My dear Maitreya, please speak about the auspicious characteristics of the Lord's different incarnations like Matsya, Kurma, Varha, and Narasimha. He always appears for the welfare of civilized people who seek to know him as well as to benefit the cows and gods. Although I have heard the Lord's activities in many times, I never tire of hearing them. Vidura asked Maitreya to first speak about the creation and finish with descriptions of the Lord's most attractive personal pastimes. Kindly explain how Krishna, the supreme ruler of the universe, creates the planets. Tell me also about the rulers of these different worlds, as well as how the living entities attain them. O chief among the Brahmins, I am also curious to learn about the different types of bodies, natures, and activities the self sufficient Lord has created to populate the universe. Have you not heard the Mahabharata, which covers these topics? Yes, I have heard it from my father, Vyasdeva. He described to me the histories of both humans and celestials. However, I was not satisfied by the narration. I desired to hear these subjects explained again, but with more emphasis on Krishna. Mitra's eyes widened, and he went on. Who can be satisfied without hearing sufficient talk of Krishna, whose lotus feet are the sum total of all places of pilgrimage, and who is worshipped by great sages and devotees? Such topics can destroy worldly attachment merely by entering one's ears. Maitreya said, was there not mention of Krishna in the Mahabharata? Surely, replied Vidura. Your good friend Vyasdeva described Krishna's transcendental qualities in his great work, the Mahabharata, but he also included numerous mundane affairs of this world. He wanted to attract materialistic persons who like such subjects so that they would also incidentally hear Krishna's instructions in the Bhagavad Gita, thereby becoming purified. For myself, I have no interest in worldly concerns. I only want to hear about Krishna. I am certain that anyone anxious to absorb his mind in Krishna's pastimes will become indifferent to the material world and all his suffering will be destroyed immediately.
Jai, 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 jai.
Mm. Yes.
Can you read that statement again?
Okay. I'm certain that anyone anxious to absorb his mind in Krishna's pastimes will become indifferent to the material world and all his suffering will be destroyed immediately.
Yeah. So let's pause there. So
Yes.
it's not saying that we will reject material enjoyment or material desires. We are not we're not like some sort of yogis who are not bhakti, we are bhakti yogis. We are not just some sort of yogi that, oh, our goal is not sense control. The point is, our goal is to become indifferent to these things. Okay, my mind is jumping up and down. It wants this material sense gratification. We just become indifferent. We don't We don't try to control that as if it's the goal of our life. Now do we pay attention and give in to it? So I love that word indifference. For a devotee, indifference is actually a jewel that we can wear about materialistic subject matters. We are not too eager to sort it out, solve it, nor are we suppressing it. We're just indifferent. Okay, when you come in India, right? For some people, when they come to India, there is the buffalo, there is these dogs on the street, and there is a guy beggar lying down in the middle of the street, and India is like that. India is like tailor made to create a sense of indifference in our minds about materialistic lifestyle as well. So I like the word indifference a lot. Most of
Mm.
the problems, indifference can be a great solution. Please continue.
Vidura
Unless you have.
placed, yeah. Vidura placed a hand on his chest. O great sage, my heart aches for those who do not understand the value of discussing about Krishna. Some materialists may even accept that he is the supreme lord, but they see him merely as their order supplier. Better than them are those who desire freedom from material entanglement. They ostensibly accept the process of devotional service to Krishna, but they mistakenly think it to be merely the means to liberation. In fact, while relishing hearing about Krishna, one is directly in communion with him. This is the highest attainment. Those who cannot comprehend this regretfully waste their human form of life in useless pursuits. Vidura paused and looked around at their bucolic surroundings. Clusters of red and yellow flowers grew nearby, attended by countless black bees humming delightfully as they flew in and out of fragrant blossoms. Vidura turned back to Maitreya. Mataji, just explain to me this part.
Mm.
This is the highest attainment. Those who cannot comprehend this regretfully waste their form of life in useless pursuits. This part.
So, okay, let's go back to that statement. While listening, while relishing hearing
Yes.
about Krishna, one is directly in communion with him. Okay, is that point is clear, no? When we
Yes.
are listening about Krishna, when we are doing kirtan, we feel like we're in touch with Krishna. We feel Krishna's presence because Krishna is the holy name. Krishna is Srimad Bhagavatam. Then this is the highest attainment. Those who cannot comprehend this regrettably waste their human form of life in useless pursuits. So
Mm.
yeah, some people are not attracted to personalism. Some people are not attracted to spiritual life, right? They
Mm.
may consider all these kind of, oh, Mahabharata, Ramayana, yeah, whatever, that's not even relevant to my life. Some people are like that. They just
Mm.
want to focus on their materialistic. And I mean, I was just thinking about it yesterday, how I sometimes observe people who are so engrossed in trying to fulfill their material desires, and I've known them for say 10 years, 20 years, and it never quenches the thirst of material need for that material quote unquote security. It never quenches, it never ends. And actually, when I see their lives and their minds, because I also in my profession, I always see the minds of people very closely, and I can see those who have material desires, those who don't have faith. Okay, this is essentially even an astrological principle in our astrological charts. If we don't have like strong Jupiter, okay, if we have a weak Jupiter, then naturally we are running after materialistic things. We are trying to cling to those things which are mm, temporary, and those things which are pleasure based, like Venus. Okay, somebody may have a good Venus in their chart. So basically, what does Venus mean? Ability to enjoy, wanting to like be in comfort. So somebody may have like a good Venus or something, and they're like, you know what? Yeah, it's nice to hear some Leela, something, but that's not for me. It's not my life.
Mm.
Like that.
They
Okay,
they are
so
not satisfied. No, they are not satisfied.
yeah, exactly. And also, I
Mm,
think it's the main thing is the faith here. There
mm,
is no faith. These people don't have faith in the Lord or faith in some higher power. So they are
mm,
so, no, they're not advanced yet. So they're still kind of looking down meaning they're still in the bottom of in the back of the bus, so to speak, about their materialistic mm, efforts and endeavors in life.
mm,
um and it's a circle of it's a trap. It's never ending, once we are in that loop, once we're trying to find pleasure in Krishna consciousness, oh, you feel that, sometimes we're just chanting and we feel like I don't want anything else, just
mm.
like I have everything. There's a feeling of
Mm.
satisfaction.
We have the taste of that. That is, yeah.
Right, once we have that. So people who have a materialistic taste, it's very difficult for them to have faith that, oh, there is something beyond. They don't think, okay, I enjoy now, I enjoy my senses. What when I get old? They don't want to think about it. Okay, I'm doing so much for my children. I'm not giving charity, I'm not doing any other sacrifices, austerities. I'm just absorbed in raising children in the most comfortable way possible, this and that. And then what? Will, like they don't have a bigger picture of what life is all about. They're not focused on the qualities that they need to develop. They're too focused on comforts. They're too focused on what they think is needed for a happy life. They don't realize that at this point, this is the highest attainment. To actually stay in touch with Krishna is the highest attainment. They don't understand that. They think it's a means to their goal, which is sense gratification. I mean, a lot of people worship the Lord, right? A lot of people are there who are religious, but their goal of being religious is so that they can enjoy material life. I remember I was in a temple one time and there was a yagya being done, and it was like I think some kind of shanti like that. Some yagya was being done, and the pujari was telling this couple, look, you've been so many lifetimes in this way and hankering after materialistic things and being eager for materialistic happiness, success, progress. No, but the point of this yagya is to admit to the Lord that, my dear Lord, I've done this over so many lifetimes, Finally, I want to really surrender to you and I want your will to prevail. And please, accept me as your servant. So he was explaining so nicely. Usually in some Hindu temples and all, they don't explain these things. They just do the yagya, get the money, and say bye bye. But this pujari
Mm,
was explaining so nicely to this couple. Look, many lifetimes you've already tried sense gratification. You've already tried to settle down in this world by trying to get all the dharma, artha, kama, all this. So now you focus on the purpose of life. The purpose of life is not dharma, artha, kama. These are all just like, okay, some experiences like that. It's necessary to try to, fulfill our needs of this human body, human existence, in a dharmic way. But that's not the goal. We shouldn't stop at that. We should go beyond and say, how can I help you, Krishna, in your mission? You have a bigger
mm,
mission than my life's comfort. So then we start the process of liberation. So these
mm,
people, according to this, it's regrettable because they're not ready for that. They're so still stuck. Like imagine, okay, this is an analogy that comes to my mind. Imagine a person of 20-year-old, okay, and their ability is only to alphabets and numbers, and they're cat cat dog dog. That's their level. They're not able to rise above and understand algebra or understand philosophy or theology or physics, or they're just stuck. So like that, human existence, sometimes people They may perform devotion, they may perform spiritual actions, activities, but their realization that their taste is still of a CAT cat and DOG dog level. They're not able to rise above that. So there can be an analogy that it's regrettable. Imagine a 20-year-old stuck there. Oh God, this is so regrettable. They're wasting their life. They're wasting their career, we would say, right? So similarly, human existence is meant for higher realizations, and when somebody is unable to do it, it's regrettable because it's like, oh my God, another lifetime gone, another lifetime wasted. Mm-hmm. Does that help anything?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Vidura turned back to Maitreya. Just as honey is the essence of flowers, to understand Krishna's role in all things,
Sorry. Oh, what happened?
no, this one,
Where is it?
this one.
Yeah.
A sense of knowledge. Great sage, since you are compassionate to suffering souls like myself, kindly explain everything I have asked in relation to Krishna, for only this knowledge can make a person's life auspicious. The Purusha avatars who create the universe are also incarnations of Krishna. Kindly, therefore, first tell me about his pastimes of creation. Maitreya smiled. All glories to you, noble Vidura. Since your mind is absorbed in Krishna, your questions are beneficial for me and all the world. Everyone is coming age of Kali. Who hears our conversation will be delivered. It is not surprising that you are such a great devotee, Vidura. After all, you are the son of sage Vyasdeva. Indeed, in your previous birth, you were none other than the god Yamraja. Because of Mandava's Muni's curse, you were obliged to become a maidservant's son. Listen as I relate this incident. Sage Mandavaya stood beneath a peepal tree at the entrance of his small hermitage. After studying all the scriptures, he was determined to attain spiritual realization. He took a severe vow to stand a total silence with his arms upraised. Intent on his practice, he stood like this for many months, neither eating, resting, nor speaking. What one hot sunny day, five fierce looking men carrying sacks of gold and jewels over their shoulders ran through the forest. Chancing upon the remote hermitage and seeing Mandavaya, they fell at his feet and begged him to hide them. Mandavaya, bound by his vow of silence and austerity, did not reply. Hearing the police close by, the thieves hurriedly conferred with one another. The police was unlikely to disturb the ascetic. Our best hope is to hide in his cottage. The five men carefully maneuvered past Manvaya and hid themselves in the dark recesses of his hermitage. Barely had the last of them disappeared inside than a band of heavily armed policemen arrived at the spot. Seeing the emaciated ascetic standing at the entrance of his hut with upraised arms, these two stopped. They looked about but could find no trail. It seemed that the thieves had vanished into thin air. Exasperated, the police captain approached Mandavaya and questioned him. O Brahmin, we are chasing a gang of dangerous thieves. Their trail led up to this point, but we cannot determine which way they have gone. Can't you tell us where they went? It is urgent that we catch them. Intent on self-realization, Manvaya resolutely observed his vow and made no reply. The police began looking for the trail again. One of the officers noticed faint footprints in the dust around Manva's hut. It seemed they led into the hut itself. The officer edged past Manvaya and peered into the hut. All his eyes became accustomed to the dark. He saw 5 men huddled in the corner. Captain, they are here. Thinking Manvaya and accompanying accomplice, the captain drew his sword and pointed it at his throat. You thieves are so tricky. Now you have the audacity to masquerade as a holy man, thinking we would not suspect you. Manvaya was arrested along with the 5 thieves and taken before the king. At no point during his trial did Manvaya break his vow of silence to defend himself. The king ordered him to be impaled along with the 5 murderous thieves. Still he did said nothing, even as the executioner drove a stake through his anus. Mandavaya did not make a sound. He remained impaled on the stake for a considerable time. Still he did not die, but valiantly struggled to continue for his ascetic vow. By his mystic powers, he summoned other yogis for support. Assuming the form of birds, the yogis arrived in the darkness of night. Seeing him suffering on the stake, they were mortified. They implored him to tell them for what sin he had punished in such a terrible way. Communicating telepathically, Manvaya said it is wrong to blame others for no one's pain. O saintly ones, I do not know what sin I have committed, but surely only I am to blame for my suffering. After a few days, the police returned to remove the thieves' bodies. Seeing the Mandavaya was still alive, they were astonished and quickly informed the king. The learned monarch instantly understood that Mandavaya was indeed an authentic and powerful ascetic. Surrounded by his ministers, the king hurried to Mandavaya, who was still impaled on the stake, and fell at his feet begging pardon. The king-hearted sage feebly bowed his head in forgiveness. The king's surgeons were unable to extract the stake from Mandavaya's body as it had gone all the way into his skull. Thus they broke off the portion that protruded from his body, leaving the rest inside him. Manvaya then continued with his severe penance by virtue of which he eventually ascended to the highest regions of the universe, which are only attained by the most accomplished ascetics. In those planets, the residents are endowed with all mystic powers and can travel freely anywhere within or beyond the universe. Remembering his life on earth, Manvaya traveled to the abode of Yamaraj, Lord of Death, who ordains the destinies of conditioned souls. Manvaya approached the god on his great golden throne and asked, why was I made to suffer the sinful reaction of impalement? What evil deed had I previously committed? Yamraj replied that when Mandvaya was a small child, he had only pierced an insect with a sharp blade of grass. For this act, O ascetic Brahmin, you were later impaled. Mandvaya was shocked. I was a mere child. I did not understand right or wrong, but acted out of innocent curiosity. By awarding me such an unreasonable and ill-considered punishment, it is actually you who has sinned. Yamaraj, for this injustice you will take birth in the womb of a servant on the earth planet.
Wow. Wow. Let's pause there. That's a lot to take. That
Yeah.
is yeah. What do you think? Was
Yeah,
it fair?
no, no, I think it's not fair. He was innocent. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Sometimes it's like, Krishna that inspires people to do certain things so that, I mean, imagine Mahabharat without Vidura.
Yeah, he was ignorant actually,
I was a child, right?
a child. Yeah. Didn't know what he
And
was doing.
in fact, see, Vidura was never intention. I mean, earlier, I mean, as Yamaraj, it was not like an intentional thing, sadistic thing that he wanted to punish this sage. It was not like that. He was just trying to do his duty, but he was too much of a perfectionist.
Hmm.
Trying to do things, thinking this is the right way. But then later on, because of his nature, right? Because of his nature of being sincere, he was also insulted and not mistreated plenty by the Pandavas, I mean, Kauravas. Yet he was very neutral. He didn't get affected the way some mere human would get affected. So it's also an indication, it's an indication of somebody. We may make a mistake, we may get cursed, but because of our qualities, we are able to kind of endure the consequences without becoming affected by it. And that was Vidura as well. Yeah, I'm just thinking of this perfectionist tendency sometimes that we may have. We become the judge, right? That's why Yamaraj is the judge. He is the judge, and even a judge can make a mistake. Imagine us, right? Who are we to judge others?
Hmm.
So let's see, what time is it? It's 5:30.
5:35.
Yeah, let's finish this part till here.
Okay.
You want to finish this? Yamaraj hung his head.
Yamraj hung his head in contrition, realizing his mistake. Manvaya then declared, I hereby establish a principle of justice. You may never award a heavy punishment for acts committed by children up to the age of 14. Only after that age may they be held fully responsible for their acts.
Mm, thank you. So we'll continue tomorrow from here. Vidura has been exposed. I'm going to Hamsavahan today. Hamsavahan is a temple, the next island.
Oh,
And there is beautiful, so it's a pastime of Gauranga. So basically, Gauranga Mahaprabhu was here doing kirtan, and his pastimes were being happening and glorifying. And Mahadev, Lord Shiva, he was feeling so eager to come and listen. But then it would take him forever if he came by Nandi, because he was so eager to hear Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastimes. So he borrowed Brahmaji's Hamsa, the swan, because it flies, right? It's not like a ordinary swan. It's like a machine which can go like super fast. So he borrowed Brahma's Hamsa. He said, "I'm really eager to hear Gauranga's leelas. I'm rushing." And so Brahmaji gave him the Hamsa. So he came by Hamsa, and so he landed here in Modudrumadweep, and he sat down and he heard Gauranga's pastimes. So this place is called Hamsavahan because he came by Hamsa. So I'm going to take some students there in the morning. Today is Monday, right? So they have like a Monday puja and artik and everything. So I have, let me just stop this live and then show you.
Yes. My obeisances also there. Please pay my obeisances.